Well, good afternoon, everyone. As all of you know, we're sort of waiting on the House, and I think the Senate schedule, which the Majority Leader will address when he's out here, will be dictated by when the House sends over the remaining three significant bills that we need to deal with. Well, let me just say a word about the Senate Democratic Intelligence Report. It's really a study. It's not authorized by the Senate Intelligence Committee. I think it doesn't tell us much that we didn't probably already know anyway, but significantly endangers Americans around the world. This particular release, in my judgment, serves no purpose whatsoever other than to endanger Americans around the world at a time of growing concern about the rise of terrorism. The President seemed to declare the war on terror over a while back. The terrorists obviously didn't get the message, and it's clearly still the biggest threat confronting us in the 21st century.
Well, following on Senator McConnell's comments, I can't think of any greater disservice to the men and women in the military and in the intelligence community who, for the last 13 years, have prevented another 9/11 type attack on our own shores. And just think about what a recruiting tool this is for our adversaries. We know that they are way too successful in recruiting people online, and this is another tool in their toolbox to help recruit people to the fight with ISIL and other terrorist organizations. And we also depend quite extensively on the cooperation of other intelligence agencies around the world to help work with us to penetrate some of these enemies, adversaries of the United States and of the civilized world. And what does this say about their likelihood to cooperate with us in the future? So Leon Panetta, among others, John Brennan, the current CIA director, said this program saved American lives. But unfortunately, what Senate Democrats have done today will endanger American lives.
And I honestly just don't know what good possibly comes out of the release of that CIA report. Obviously, there are some disturbing accounts in there, but you cannot deny the political nature of what the Democrats have done here. And I want to read a quote that White House Press Secretary made. He acknowledged, and I quote, "There are some indications that the release of the report could lead to greater risk that is posed to U.S. facilities and individuals all around the world." It is very clear this appears to be simply an attempt to rewrite history by the Democrats, to bash the Bush administration, but clearly there isn't anything good that comes out of this. I want to speak just briefly to the sort of the continuing saga that is Obamacare. And obviously, Jonathan Gruber is up on Capitol Hill today, who said that it was a lack of transparency and the stupidity of the American people that enabled Obamacare to pass. If you look at what's happening after the Louisiana runoff that occurred on Saturday, you now have only half, 30 of the 60 Democrats will be in the Senate in January who voted for Obamacare. The Democrats, those who are still here, seem to be distancing themselves as quickly as they can from the harmful effects that Obamacare has had on people in this country. And I can tell you that when Republicans take the majority in January, we're going to be doing everything that we can to undo those harmful impacts on people across this country that have been caused by Obamacare. This is an issue that is not going away for Democrats up here, and is evidenced by the fact that there are only half of them here who voted for it when it passed back in 2009.
I was on the Senate Intelligence Committee when the report that was released today was completed. It was written without Republican staff being involved. It was written without a single principal being interviewed. It's because of that incredibly incomplete, but also it's unnecessary to release it at this time, and I think particularly unhelpful. I'm told by people who've talked to the State Department today that they're getting calls from around the world of people who are people who've worked with us in the past that wonder what the implication this has for them. I'm told that as people talk about this report today, already trying to figure out exactly where these locations are from what they can try to glean from the report. None of that is helpful. None of that serves a purpose. And the report itself, as I recall and understand still be the case, doesn't propose any additional actions being taken because of the report. If you're going to take a chance like this with our national security, you should do it for some purpose other than to create problems for Americans serving us around the world and people who have chosen to be on our side in this fight against terror rather than people on the other side.
Yep. Jeff?
The report was not authorized. How was this report not authorized?
It was my understanding, Roy, you were on the committee at the time. My understanding is it's basically a Democratic report or study or whatever the proper word is.
I think it wasn't authorized by the Senate, so it's not really a Senate report. It's what I believe the leader was referring to. There was a vote in the committee, but then quickly as the report, that was before I got on the Senate committee, and quickly the Republicans withdrew from the process, seeing that there was no effort to interview people, that this was a report that clearly didn't have any intended end game to change behavior, and so it was written by the Democrats. It is a report from, frankly, Democrats on the committee, and it was authorized by the committee, but quickly the Republicans on the committee no longer participated, and the point is it's certainly not a Senate report because it's not authorized by the Senate.
I could ask you this, Senator McConnell. The timing of it is obviously you all object to the timing. The substance of the report, but the very specific details of the grisly nature of some of the interrogations. What do you think that says about the U.S. government? And should there be more reforms, or are you confident with the reforms that have happened since?
Well, I think what it does for the U.S. government is endanger every one of our people overseas, every embassy flying an American flag. As several of my colleagues have just pointed out, endanger the working relationship we've had with a variety of different countries in trying to deal with intelligence gathering. In short, it was a big step in the wrong direction.
Senator McConnell,
Yeah.
can you give us an update on when you all are thinking of the Senate rules for nominees and rules subject of discussion?
Yeah, there's nothing to tell you. We're going to have an in-depth discussion of that later today.
Senator McConnell?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I was wondering if you have a comment on the tax deduction package being worked on between Chairman White and Chairman Camp on the tax deductions?
Well, I mean, our only option once we get to the tax extender bill is what the House sends over to us. I mean, exactly what that package is going to look like beyond being 1 year, I couldn't tell you.
Do you have any expectation of when that might be addressed?
Yeah, before we leave here. Yeah, the three things we're going to do. We're going to pass the National Defense Authorization Act. We're going to pass the Omnibus/CR, and then we're going to pass the tax extender bill before we leave here this week. Thank you.